Hey, Charlie Beer. I'm a marketing major, BIA minor, undergrad. For my final session that I went to at South by Southwest, it was on Bermuda's digital finance journey, and it was put on by Honorable Premier E. David Burr. He was this guy from the Bermudian government who is kind of implementing the future of digital finance and digital currencies on a country level rather than just being on a more independent level like what we've been seeing. We obviously have all known of places like the Bahamas and Bermudas as large finance locations, even though they have small island populations. They bring together people from all over the world in a financial community, and that's why he was talking about starting the digital currency use there. Like we obviously have things like Bitcoin and stuff like that, which are digital currencies. They aren't as stable as what our paper money is. Like we know the dollar is the dollar and the dollar's not going to change. Whereas if I have one Bitcoin, for all I know, the next day it's going to be worth 1/10 of what it was the day before. That volatility is much more problematic. But what they're actually doing there is they're trying to produce, I think it was called the USD VC or something, United States dollar virtual currency. And it would basically be one to one currency match to what the US dollar is, but in a digital form. And what they were saying as like a hopeful end goal would be that every dollar you have would have a QR code on it, and you'd be able to make purchases using that digital currency, that QR code on it. And so you would have like a virtual $100 bill in your account. And if you had to pay your heating and electricity bill and it's $85 or something, you could use that virtual currency and it just makes the payment as though it was a cash payment, but using that virtual currency instead. And it was just something I hadn't really ever thought about being like, I knew like, obviously with the rise of digital currencies, I knew one day we would be seeing that there would be government-led virtual currencies that would start to slowly phase out the paper money that we're used to, and they would kind of occupy that same role. But I never really saw how it would actually be utilized or what they would be doing with it. And this is something I found really interesting. Part of what they're trying to establish in Bermuda is that rather than being just a place where people send their money and establish their companies, it's a place where companies can go to and actually grow in the digital financial world. So, for instance, they're trying to establish different, uh, basically, licenses to be able to distribute and use these virtual currencies for different levels of companies. They had the test license, which would be a very new company that maybe it's a company that already exists or a brand new company. They have no influence or information really on digital assets or digital currencies at all. And this would be the test license where they could kind of use the most basic software, get a feel for it, start understanding how it works and implementing it within their company. And then from there, they'd move up to the modified license. The modified license would be that next step where instead of just learning how to use it and establishing your company with the technology, you're actually able to start using it for transactional reasons. Now it's called the modified license because what they want is that people will continue moving down the path to get that full license where you're just a fully fledged licensed company to deal in those transactions in any capacity that you'd like. But for the modified license, it's really like a growing period where the government would kind of give aid and inform more people about the company while also giving access to more of the digital finance systems they have available. But it would have like certain caps on the amount of money that could be spent in digital currency because they don't want that modified license to be a replacement for actually leveling up to that full license where you just have full access to digital currency and you are allowed to use it however you please. They want people to continue to pass through that so that companies do get that full access and aren't like being held back by certain limitations that they find on that modified license. Currently, there's already 52 digital asset-based businesses based in Bermuda. Stuff like Circle and Coinbase, which are huge in the US, are some of the leading ones in that industry, but they're trying to establish it even further where all digital asset companies are wanting to come to Bermuda and they are the leader in the entire industry, so everyone's looking at them on what to do. Um, and while they are The one thing that he was also talking about is while they are financially based there and their companies are based there on paper so that their finances can be kept in that area, there aren't actually doing much in the country. Bermuda's a very small country. I think it's like 60,000 people live there, yet over something like 2 or 3 trillion dollars in finances are being held by them. So it's like not directly proportional to what they are trying to do in Bermuda, which is bring that new technology as a forefront of that industry. They really are trying to expand their country's information on it. They have annual education conferences to bring information to their local population. They have completely free access to online learning. If you are like a natural Bermudian, you have free access to any online earning you could wish that's about digital currencies, the future of technology, any of that. But they're also partnering with major companies to start building a foundation of an actual system in Bermuda. They're partnered with the Wyoming Division of Banking. They have partnerships in London and Abu Dhabi. So major countries around the world that are already known for their financial institutions and the systems we have in place, beginning to directly partner with the Bermudian government to start working on this digital finance for the future, and it's something that I'm really interested in and would really love to see what they do more of in the future. They're also putting on a convention similar to South by Southwest, but more focused on digital currencies and digital financials as a whole. But it's being held in, I think it was middle of May, like the 6th of May to the 10th of May or something. And it'll be just a full-on digital financial event, but what they're doing there is actually they will be airdropping, which is another thing that's cool. You can airdrop your money to people now with these digital currencies. But they said they're going to airdrop to everyone at the festival, or in equal parts to everyone who attends the festival, $100,000 in this virtual currency that we're creating. And then they will enable businesses all over Bermuda and working in the event to then be able to accept these digital currencies as an example of how it would be used in the future. And obviously, I just got back from this, and I don't get the half off deal. And flying to Bermuda is a bit more expensive than Austin, Texas. But if I could, I would have really loved to go see this event, and see how that it's actually going to be used on a frontline basis. And I will be keeping tabs on their updates for as long as I can until I see what actually happens. Because I would love if there was no need for paper money anymore, and I could have a digital wallet that shows me all the cash I have in my account at that time, because I think that's something that really shows growth as people, that we are able to finally move away from this paper currency that, while working, is obviously not the most ideal system we've ever had. Thank you.